Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 142, and yeah, your boy's nationally qualified. So there was only two guys in my category. It was me and somebody else, and the guy beat me straight up. I was conditioned and everything. I was, my conditioning for every show. You know, that's the one thing that I always try to get better every show is my conditioning. To be honest with you, probably the best conditioning I ever had was my very first show, and probably my third show. Yeah. So my last couple, three shows that I did, the um, conditioning wasn't as good as as I wanted it to be. Probably the worst package conditioning wise that I brought was to the Sean Ray Classic. That's because that year, that was 2021, I was set to do three shows, and I did the. Did I do this thing, man? No, I did the Maui Classic, which was here in Oahu, and then I did the Sean Ray, which is like 6 months later. And I was gonna do the Aloha Muscle that year, but my body just couldn't handle it. It's like my body couldn't handle the diet, the protocol, all that shit. It's like my body just was literally burned out. That's how I explained it. It's like I was so burnt, not just physically. I was fine. It was more mental. Just like psychologically, just living in my head 24/7. Because anybody knows, like who's done a diet knows that how difficult it is after a while. Because you end up just living in these four walls and a roof, and a lot of the times, man, is like as a competitive bodybuilder, it's not something that you can just turn off. It's not something that practice is like from 3 to 6 or whatever it is, in treatment, whatever it is, right? This is something that you have to live, something that you have to understand that it's a lifestyle. It's something that you literally have to change your whole life for. In a good and a bad way. 2021 was weird, man. Just thinking back and reminiscing and shit, it was weird because I ended up losing people who I thought was gonna be there forever. You know, I ended up losing people, you know, who I thought no matter how bad it got and how chaotic it got, um, they was always gonna be there. And when it didn't happen the way it happened, I'm like, oh, it's like okay, like and I'm not religious by any means or whatever it is, but I think God has a plan for everybody, and the chapters that you write, and when I say chapters, I mean daily, monthly, yearly chapters. I'm on chapter 34, and soon to be 35, and it's interesting because all the shit you go through with certain individuals and everything kind of like once you take your emotions out of the situation and you realize that okay, like this was never gonna work from jump because look at who you dealing with. Like we try to make shit work so bad because most of us don't want to be alone, and that's what it comes down to, man. Like a lot of people don't know how to be alone. I watch a lot of podcasts, listen to a lot of clips and everything too, and I, and some of the shit it's mostly sports or oriented, but some of the clips I listen to is from this podcast called Tonight's Conversation, and tonight's conversation it's a panel of black men and women, and they talk about issues like dating, marriages, relationships, the whole nine, right? And I don't remember this one sister's name, but she's on the panel, and she was saying like a lot of people will not heal, but they'll jump from relationship to relationship, and they don't even know themselves. And like they don't know their likes and dislikes, whatever it is. And it's true. We've all seen it in person. We all have that one friend or a few friends that just entertain a bunch of dudes, or sleep around, whatever it is, and yada yada yada, or jump to relationship to from relationship to relationship, and they don't even know themselves. And when you hit them with that self accountability, it's like, it's like the reason why this shit is in shambles is because of what you failed to do. You don't even know yourself. All you know is that you don't want to be comfortable. Matter of fact, let me take that back. You want to be comfortable, but at the same time, you don't want to accept self accountability for when shit goes bad. I've known people that date people for years, and as soon as they break up, they're like, yeah, well, he or she was this, he or she was that. I was like, bro, you wasn't saying that when y'all were together. You wasn't saying that when y'all were dating, y'all were living together. You wasn't saying all that. But as soon as y'all break up, now it's an issue. Nah, it never, and it never got resolved because you were never woman enough, or man enough, or adult enough to bring up any conversation. Another thing I dislike is when people are triggered by shit, but they don't bring it up in the moment. They bring it up later on and try to use it against you as as ammunition. And I've dealt with situations like that. Like, and I've told a few females, or a few women I should say, is like, if there's an issue with what I'm doing, bring it up in the moment. Don't bring it up 2-3 months down the road or whatever it is, because I'm gonna look at you and be like, oh, okay, but I've been doing this for X amount of months, or well, however long the time period is. And I think a lot of people don't want to deal with being don't want to deal with controversy, or don't want to deal with being uncomfortable. And you have to do that. You have to do that, because it's like, if you're not uncomfortable, that means you're not growing. It doesn't matter what it is, right? But anyway, back to the main point. Your boy's nationally qualified. That last video, I said I was gonna hang it up, but I'm thinking about doing one national show and then hanging it up. So we'll see. Competitive bodybuilding, the competitor's always going to be in me. It doesn't matter what it is. And so with that being said, I do have a few shows that I have circled. So I don't know. We'll see. I have to write my off-season diet plan first. So, but I've been tracking my food and everything. So, doing all that fun stuff. I've been having a few cheat meals here and there, like nothing crazy. As you guys can see, my face is still somewhat skinny, so I haven't blown it completely out the water yet. It's funny because I must have drank a shit ton of water like 2 or 3 days after the show. Because when I stepped on the scale last week Monday, I was like 10 pounds heavier. Holy shit. Not thinking nothing of it, right? And so yesterday I stepped on the scale and I was 154. So I lost 6 pounds. So I figured, okay, like whatever you're doing is working, because your reverse diet is actually doing what it's supposed to do, And I'm still eating clean. I'm still doing everything like that too. But I'm also, throwing in some, Pop-Tarts, hamburgers, shit like that. I mean, like nothing like every day. Like maybe like once a week, have my body just rebound, So, but so far it's so good. I haven't been back to the gym yet. So probably like the next 2-3 weeks, because I just want to chill. I just want to go to work, go home, sleep. That's it. I don't really do too much, man. But yeah, as you guys can see, my music program behind me is open, and so we're gonna actually I was mixing and mastering last night, um, and it's slowly coming together. A lot of the shit that I've done, prior to me saying that the album was finished, it's already, some of the tracks have been done. I just haven't released it. And I was talking to a good friend of mine. He's like, bro, just release your music, dog. He's like, niggas don't care what it sound like, man. He's like, all that matters is that you releasing your music and you're you're letting the world hear what you've been through, what you're going through, whatever it is, right? And he's right. He's 100% right. And I think at the end of the day, that's extremely important because if I waited till everything was quote unquote perfect, nothing would ever get done, man. If I waited till I was completely shredded to do a bodybuilding show, I would never do a bodybuilding show. So, at the end of the day, it's just something that I think a lot of people don't realize, man. Is like you can't wait. There's no such thing as a perfect time. My dad told me something when I was growing up, and he used to always drop gems on me. That's probably why the way I am now, right? He's always saying, "Man, there ain't no such thing as a perfect time, just time." And I didn't understand it then, but I get it now. You know, no such thing as a perfect time, just time. You know what I mean? And or same thing with the perfect person. He used to always say like, man, there's no such thing as Mrs. Right. There's Mrs. Right now. You know, and usually that has to do with promiscuous women. But when you really think about it, man, it's like if you waiting around for the right person to come along, man, it's like that means you're not doing the work because if you're not doing the internal work on yourself to make yourself be better or get better, how is that person who's supposed to come in and and be compatible with you gonna do that if you're not changing, if you're not growing, whatever it is? And growth doesn't have to be you moving out your mama's house or whatever it is, or you moving out of state, whatever. I'm not saying that has to be the case because a lot of times it's not. But at the same time, it's like growth happens when you stop doing the shit that you used to be doing and you develop discipline and you develop, certain things that help you become a better individual. There's a lot of people who knew me growing up who don't know me now. And not that I'm a confrontational type of dude, but I am a very I stand on what I believe. And when people say shit out of pocket or whatever it is, I just look at them and like, oh, can you elaborate on that? Elaborate what you mean by that because I don't understand it. And what I'm trying to do is basically make them think like, I know what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do, but it's not gonna work. And at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to, man. It just boils down to you being able to understand that a lot of I call them nouns because nouns, people, places, and things. A lot of nouns ain't for you. A lot of places ain't for you. A lot of people ain't for you. A lot of things ain't for you. So it's like I said on this record that I'm gonna release with the album, 79 through 81. I said I'm just a verb looking for its noun. So a verb is an action. A noun, like I just said, is a person, place, or thing. Like I'm an action type of individual looking for the correct person. That's what I'm looking for. So it's a play on words, but like my brain works differently because I can sit here and write rhymes and write hooks and write melodies all damn day. And I think that's imperative, man. Speaking about that, everybody has a gift. Everybody has something that they can contribute to the world. And once you find that, once you understand what that is, man, it's like the world just opens up. I used to hoop back in the day, right? And a lot of hoopers don't know. I mean, a lot of guys who don't hoop don't know this, but it's like when we're locked in, or whether we're in the court or whatever it is, right? And we on a hot streak and we crossing niggas up and we doing all this shit, right? And we letting the jumper, just jump. And we have a tendency, they call it like the basket as big as the ocean, because we're so locked in, we're so in tune with what we're doing that it doesn't matter, because everything else is gonna flow right, everything else is gonna flow right through it. And I think that's the same thing with music. Man, like I said, I can sit here and write all damn day. I've done that. I've I've done it where I wake up, have my cup of coffee, and don't leave my room all damn day. You know, that's how bad it gets sometimes. I mean, not bad, but that's how locked in I am sometimes. And I think it's imperative to know that too. To understand that a lot of people ain't gonna get you, and that's fine. I used to force things too. Um, and now I just let shit flow. It's like, no, it's like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and like, and make it bigger than what it is, or what I'm not gonna sit here and try to make you see my worth. It's like, yo, it's either you gonna take what you see, excuse me, it's either you gonna take what you see, or you're not gonna take nothing at all. And that's imperative, because a lot of people will sit there and try to force things and try to force communication, conversations, relationships, friendships, whatever it is. A lot of people will do that, and they don't understand that they're actually doing more damage than good, because a lot of people will be like, yeah, well, I like this person, he or she doesn't like me back. He's like, yo, it's simple. It's like they don't fuck with you for whatever reason, right? This is one person I know, and she told this individual that she wasn't interested. And what was interesting about it is that, they're telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, that's weird, because if she's not interested, then why is she doing all this shit, right? Like, why is she, why is she trying to going out of her way to make conversation, or why is she doing certain things, and certain things of that nature? And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, that's weird, Like, if you're not interested, then why you trying to go out your way and make yourself be seen? It really doesn't make any sense. And it's not a bad thing. It's just awkward, because it's like you're telling us that okay, on one hand you're not interested in this individual, which is okay, cool. On the other hand, your behavior says otherwise. So it's confusing to us men, because we're like, most men, if not all men, we go off behavior. We read the vibes in the room or whatever it is, and we adjust accordingly based on that. And if that's the case, then if you're not interested, then why is your behavior dictating something else? It doesn't make any sense. So with that being said, it's just weird, because it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to. And I think that's important, to make your intentions clear, and to make sure that there's no any miscommunication or misinterpretation, because a lot of people will take shit and they will run with it. I've been in situations where people think I'm friendly with them, or thinking that we friends simply because I'm friendly. Like, no, I can be friendly with you until you do, until you do some weird shit. I'm gonna look at you different, And a lot of people don't understand that. It's like, so there's a difference between being nice and being friendly. Being nice will get you run over. A lot of people will take that, and they will abuse you in many different ways. Being friendly, it's the same thing. You can be friendly with people, but you can also check them too. And I'm the type of dude that I have no problem checking people, but I do it in a way that's semi-tactful. I'm not gruff or disrespectful, but I'm like, yo, like my tone and my voice changes. And it's like, so when that happens, people are like, okay, it's like, it's noticeable. But I'm also the type of dude. I'm not gonna sit there and be alpha or be braggadocious about shit. It's like I'm gonna walk into a room, say, hey, how you doing? Chill out, sit down, relax. But at the same time, it's like I'm never ever gonna announce that I'm there. Doesn't make any sense for me to do that. Um, but yeah, to wrap all this up, man. Like I said, your boy's nationally qualified. Uh, long 5 years in the making, man. 6 shows in the making. And yeah, we just we just gonna work. We're just gonna keep working. And I don't know where this is gonna lead me. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I do know one thing that I'm excited to do a national show just to see what it's like. Um, like I said, I haven't made up my mind as to what show I want to do because there are a few shows in 2024 that I want to do. One of them is the Arnold Classic, so Arnold Amateur Classic. So I don't know. And there's a couple other shows that I want to do too, but the Arnold Festival, man, like that shit is wild. So I just want to go check it out, see what it's like, you know. Plus, you meet so many different people from all over the world, man. It's like, so it just makes you think like, damn. It's like, and I know I belong here, you know. Question is like, will the moment be too big for me? And it won't be, you know. I'm gonna do everything I can to get ready, and bring the best package possible, and that's what we're gonna do. All right, y'all. This is 22 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all keeping the 4 P's. Private player, positive and pushing. See y'all next week Sunday. Love y'all. Ghost. And like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. Peace.